Do I even need an agency? Right? And this is like existential threat to the Conrad and Gee business model. Like, yeah, you do need an agency. Having said that, we're really starting to work with a lot of clients who have not just a person in-house, but actually an in-house department. I'm going to guess of our larger accounts, um, of our top 20%, I would say more than roughly half of them have an in-house, not person, but actually multiple people on the marketing front. And I think this is okay. And there's kind of two layers to this. There's the knee jerk is if you have one person responsible for pay-per-click reporting, intake management technology, tying the data in between all those things, SEO and your website, you are never going to get someone who has a solid understanding tactically of all of those elements, right? That's just really hard to pull off. But that doesn't mean that there aren't roles internally that are really, really great to have as an internal role. And I will give you a couple of those things that I think are really important. Number one, if you have a single person, my answer has always been that single person, or even the foundation of that team, should always be in technology and business analytics, right? You don't need to be an expert at code to understand that your website traffic is going down, or conversions or consultations driven by local have disappeared, right? Um, and having control, and there's so many data points that we can give you, right? And I've been critical of legal marketers for a long time about like delivering too many data points. There's so many data points that we can continue to deliver to you. Being able to kind of wade through that morass of data and find the things that are truly important and focus on the things that are truly important. Having a person who can do that's a really, really solid hire. The other localized hire that I really like that is very difficult. I mean, we do this, but it's much more difficult for us to do it is to the extent, and you should be, but to the extent that you are involved locally, right? And by involved locally, I mean physically at events, right? Going to a this, going to a that, sponsoring something else, supporting, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, whatever that might be, to the extent that you are within your community and have a presence in the community, it is really hard for an agency to pull that off. It's not impossible, right? There's stuff that we can do as an assist, but we're more of the assist than actually making things happen. And so I like those two roles for the in-house hires. It also doesn't mean that you can't have an SEO person, that you can't have a content person, right? That you can't have a social person doing. And most of the social agencies don't know anything about how to do their job, right? And what I'm seeing, especially in social and dark social, is the law firms are so much further ahead. The law firms who get it are so much further ahead of the agencies who are selling it. And that turns into something where you can actually do really, really good work. So there's lots of opportunities. I really think a good agency will be excited to work with your in-house staff because they see it as an extension of their own resources as opposed to seeing it as a threat. That's kind of a corny, self-serving answer, but I also think it's really true, right? There's a lot of value that we get and there's a lot of insight that we get with clients by working closer with clients. The clients who have an in-house group, person or group, who's tasked with working with us, we always do better with them because we know more about the business. We have more insight. There's more that we can do, and then there's more that we can lean on that individual or team to get stuff done, right? And that's what matters in the end. Now, on the managerial side, you have to think about this. Yeah, of course you do. You have to make sure that there's no finger pointing, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, and so it gets a little bit tricky. But a good manager, a good lead, a good leader can pull two different teams together and have them working together really, really well.